Welcome back everyone, Mariah Monetize here, and in today's video we're going to be going over the price of Bitcoin. I'm going to be giving you some Bitcoin price predictions. We're also going to be looking at some very strange correlations when it comes to Bitcoin's prices and the halving. We're going to be also going over the halving, what's happened in the previous halvings, halvenings. I'm not really sure what the correct way to say it is, but that's okay because I say most things incorrectly. So we're going to be going over that today, and then at the very end of this video, I'm going to be giving you a tool that you can use to earn free Bitcoin every single day. It's something that I do, and hey, listen, we got to do whatever we can to start stacking as many Satoshis as we possibly can. Technically, we should have been doing this for the past 4 years since we learned about Bitcoin. But I understand that what happens is we get a little bit bored with the price action, then we kind of forget about the importance of Bitcoin, then the bull market comes and we're like, wow, what a missed opportunity. I should have spent all my money and all of my energy stacking as many Satoshis as possible. So I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a tip and a tool that you can use to get free Bitcoin every single day. So I know it's been a minute. I haven't done a video in a while because back in August, I started a new business here in Puerto Rico, and it has taken all of my time and attention. I kind of launched the business before I was like 100% ready to go, just to kind of fill out the market demand. And let's just say it has been insane ever since. And so I have spent all my time and energy growing the business, building the back end of the business. And it's been really fun, really exciting, something that I'm very grateful for. But like I said, it's just taken all of my time and attention and my creativity. And so there's really not much left in the tank at the end of the day to make YouTube videos. I pretty much just work every day until I mentally can't anymore, physically can't anymore, and then I call it a day and I wake up and I do it again. I have not had a day off since I started the business. Not Thanksgiving, not Christmas. I was still answering phone calls while I was visiting my family in California, but that's not really that important. So let's go ahead and start here with my Bitcoin price prediction. You know, someone recently asked me what my Bitcoin price prediction is, and I didn't really have a super solid answer. And it's so hard to say with Bitcoin after the ETF being approved, and the dynamic of the market has totally shifted. It totally feels like the big ballers are in control, right? It feels like all of the retail investors have capitulated. They have sold all their Bitcoin off, and retail is just not really a big player like it was before. Unfortunately, we have given the majority of the power back to the big guys, which kind of sucks because Bitcoin feels like it started out as like the little guys, you know, making it big, but it definitely feels like the tides have turned, shifted, whatever that saying is. So I don't know why, but 150,000 has always been a big number that always pops into my head. But I don't know, this atmosphere just feels different. We have seen new all-time highs pre-halving, which has never happened before. That's massive, that's huge. And as I was looking at the charts, I was like, 500,000? 640,000? I don't know. I mean, the atmosphere of Bitcoin just feels different. It feels like there's more power, and Bitcoin feels like it's actually moving in a different way. I was describing it to my friend, you know, it's like stocks have personality, Bitcoin has personality. I was telling my friend that, like, you know, Bitcoin has acted like a little immature shit all these past years, very irresponsible, a little bit of a degen. And now, like, when I look at price action, or when Bitcoin's making new all-time highs, and these pullbacks, I'm like, damn, Bitcoin's grown up, feels mature, you know? It feels like, I mean, the volatility is there if you're trying to trade, but the volatility feels different than it did before. Like the way Bitcoin is just, you know, chilling at 72, 73, making these small pullbacks, heading back up to 70. Interesting price action for sure. It feels different than the previous market cycles. I don't know, 150 just seems like super low balling Bitcoin. This is the thing, is that there's no reason to like be trying to sell my Bitcoin anytime soon. People are like, oh, it's time to sell, it's time to sell. It's people that really don't understand Bitcoin that are talking about selling Bitcoin right now. I don't care if Bitcoin pulls back $10,000 or $20,000. We're in a bull market. Why would I be selling off my Bitcoin? I'm not trying to be trading Bitcoin. Most of us are not trading experts, so why would we ever try to trade Bitcoin? So let's go ahead and talk about this very strange correlation that I have discovered on the price of Bitcoin. So what I did was I was looking back at the perfect buying opportunity to buy Bitcoin pre-halving. So what do I mean by perfect buying opportunity? Basically, you bought in and then Bitcoin just went straight up from there. There were no sideways accumulation phases. And so I looked here. So May 11th, 2020 was the previous Bitcoin halving day. And I think it's important to look at this. Okay, so right here, May 11th, and you can see that Bitcoin had a huge run up about 2 months prior to the halving. And then it topped 4 days prior to the halving, and the high was, so what we can see here on May 11th, sorry, I was looking down here at this chart and up here at these numbers. So right here on May 11th, Bitcoin had a low of $8,185. And then 4 days prior, when that high came in of $10,079. And so when I look at the perfect buying opportunity prior to the halving, it's here, right? It's here on March 13th, when Bitcoin had a low of $3,858. But we also kind of sort of have to take into consideration, this is 2020, right? So COVID was happening and we had that major sell-off. But this is what's weird, right? Okay, this is a buying opportunity right here prior to halving. March 13th with the low of 3,858. Okay, what if we were to look at Bitcoin currently, all right? And when you look here, we are about a month from halving, I believe April 16th, so we're 1 month out from the halving. And when you look at this chart and you're like, okay, anticipating that Bitcoin continues to run up into the halving, maybe has a pullback, like just days prior to it, the buying opportunity was here, came in on January 23rd with the low of 38,512. 38,512. Best buying opportunity pre-halving to basically be in the profit all the way up. And in 2020, it was $3,858. So 38,800. If you've been watching my videos before, you know that I have pointed out this correlation in the past of Bitcoin. Like when you look at Bitcoin's previous market cycle, you know, it was basically having tops at like, you know, 58,000. And if you look back at the previous market cycle, it was making tops like 5,800. I don't remember how long ago I made those videos. I went back and tried to find them. I couldn't even find them myself because it has been so long, but that was definitely a very interesting correlation. So that was one strange correlation there. So what can we anticipate? Well, here's the thing. So when you take a little bit of a deeper dive and you look at the top that came in prior to the halving on May 7th of 2020, the high of that candle was $10,079. So if history repeats itself and Bitcoin kind of has a similar pump going into the halving, does that mean that we hit $100,000 pre-halving? Well, I guess it is a possibility. Bitcoin getting up to $100,000, maybe 5 to 7 days prior to halving, and then getting a pullback. And like I said, this low came in here on the halving day of 8,100. Maybe Bitcoin pulls back to 81,000. And I know this is a really strange and odd way to read the charts, but I am just saying there are a lot of very similar correlations when you look at Bitcoin from that scope. And after I made those videos, gosh, it could have been 5 years ago that I was making this correlation, but I have had a really hard time of like, time is just going by so quickly that like recently I was like, oh, didn't that person pass away 2 years ago? And then I was like, oh no, that was 7 years ago. I was like, what? I was so sure about 2 years, and I'm usually good with like time, but my brain has lost its edge in that way. So maybe $100,000 pre-halving is not out of the question. And maybe we see that pull back down to $81,000. And so as you could see, when people talk about selling Bitcoin pre-halving, I'm like, have you never been here before? Do you even own Bitcoin? Like, selling pre-halving seems like an absolutely terrible mistake. But other than these YouTube videos, I really rarely talk about Bitcoin in the real world. It's like, listen, I went on my Bitcoin tour and I preached Bitcoin for years when Bitcoin was like, I don't know, $1,000, $900. And the same people that didn't buy Bitcoin are bitching and complaining about inflation. And guess what? I tried to help you and you didn't want to listen. And now I don't feel sorry for you, one, and two, definitely don't want to hear your complaining. I don't want to hear complainers in general, but definitely don't want to hear you complaining about inflation after I warned you and told you to buy Bitcoin. And it wouldn't matter, inflation wouldn't matter if you bought Bitcoin at $900. So let's see here. So what did Bitcoin do? Another thing I want to focus on, what did Bitcoin do after the halving? Okay, so you can see we have a 2-month run up into the halving. 4 days prior to the halving, Bitcoin tops, and then we see the pullback here. Okay, so maybe that a really good buying opportunity. I mean, I have buy orders for Bitcoin set, I think at like 64,000. Not much though. I'm pretty much fully back in. I've been back in for a bit now. I am probably going to like grab cash. I mean, a few thousand here, a few thousand there, and then also just put some buy orders in because I'm still a big believer in Bitcoin. Nothing has definitely changed, but as you can see here, let's see what Bitcoin did after the halving. So you can see here, May 11th, 2020, Bitcoin bottoms, and that was like the bottom. So maybe like that is the day to buy. But you can also see here, the Bitcoin traded sideways. So Bitcoin traded in between 10,000 and you could say 8,600 for a decent period of time, all through May, and then it basically broke above $10,000 in July. So what, a 2-month period of time. So you can see Bitcoin basically just trading sideways here and then off to the races. A big pump there. Also though, a little bit of sideways trading. And then you could see here, the real pump started to happen. Like let's say that you didn't want to let's say you didn't want to be sitting in a Bitcoin position here, right? All the way from halving until October. So that's several months. And then Bitcoin went absolutely berserk after that, as you could see here. And after it broke the previous all-time high, this is where the difference is. Previous all-time high of $20,000, there was a pullback that lasted, let's see, November 30th, about a week and a half. And then it was practically straight up from there. But this is the thing, there's always pullback. So like for example, Bitcoin hit what, 74,000, and then everyone's like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like sell your Bitcoin. But Bitcoin in a bull market always has really large pullbacks that are like 20 to 30%. So as you can see here, Bitcoin topped, this is in 2021 at 41,000, and then it pulled back to 28. And then you can see here, it runs up to 57, pulls back to 43, then it runs up to 61, and it pulls back to 51. And obviously, as you could see, this is the daily chart, but you could see it broke on the daily chart. There was a lower low, and that could have been your sign to then get out at 47 and to be like, market cycle over. But like I said, timing the market's always tough. I'm currently not trading Bitcoin. I'm trading options at the moment, and it's actually going very well. I've been learning a lot. And something that I will potentially share with you guys in the future if you're interested, because damn, I have a hell of a resource when it comes to options trading that you should really only be profitable. It's like ridiculous. So yeah, that's what I wanted to point out when it comes to Bitcoin's behavior pre-halving, post-halving, and then also to, let's see here. So I was also kind of looking at, so you can see here, like from 41 to 42 down to 28. And I feel like Bitcoin's, like I was seeing those same numbers. Let's see, where's it at? Similar price action. Like Bitcoin hits like 49 up here and then pulls back. Okay, so I just showed you. In the previous market cycle, Bitcoin runs to about 48, pulls back to 28. Okay, not last market cycle, which was that one, but the one previous that, you can see right here, Bitcoin runs to like 4,900 and then pulls back to like $2,900, you know? So like, this is a very strange correlation that we continue. But like I said, that's a super strange correlation in my opinion. The buying opportunity of pre-halving 2 cycles ago, 3,800, and then the previous one, 38,000. That's no coincidence. And if you continue to like check out this correlation, it plays out in many instances. And so when I first saw that correlation several years ago, I'm like, yeah, that's just strange and that's odd, but then it kept playing out. So let's just see, will Bitcoin get to 100K pre-halving? I think it's super possible. We are a month away, and there's just so much momentum. I mean, we are gonna start seeing $10,000 swings in Bitcoin in a single day. So the last thing I wanna share with you guys to get some free Bitcoin is the Fold app. I'll have a link down below. And so what I love about the Fold app is that every day I go in and I spend and I get free Satoshis. And so with my link, you'll actually get, let's see, you'll get 20,000 Satoshis when you sign up for a free Fold card. And so I believe there's a free Fold card, and then there's also one that you could pay for. So like there's a few different options, but you don't even have to get the card. I don't believe. I think you could still spend for free without it. So I have a link down below so that you can pick up some free Satoshis. And honestly, it's like so fun every day to go in there. It's like the only app that I have notifications for. And this little wheel, and you click spin, and for a moment it feels like you're at the casino, which if you like investing, it's just like life is basically a casino. So that's all that I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed this video on Bitcoin. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love. It's been a long time. Almost forgot what I'm supposed to say.